with Shirley Henderson. How are you, Shirley?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. I'm good, yeah.
Excellent. We saw your film yesterday, Tale of Tales. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you.
Didn't recognise you to begin with.
Oh, well.
Because you play one of the one of the mysterious sisters, or the ugly sisters in inverted commas. Such fantastic makeup.
Well, it was 5 hours in prosthetics every morning before we started. So,
blimey.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning we sat in that chair, and 8 o'clock we were ready. So.
Yeah. Is it quite a challenging role? Does it make it easier to wear so much makeup to the point where you're unrecognisable, so you can really channel yourself into that role?
I mean, it was good for that role. I mean, it's not something I'd recommend for every role. It's very tiring, and it's very restricting. You know, you're trapped. You can't, you've got to find a way of moving and getting the emotion through as well. But there's this thing on top of your own face and your hands and your feet and everything. But for that part, because obviously he wanted us to look as old as we could, but still embody, just be youthful in our spirit and our physical movements. So it was interesting to see what they were going to come up with. I mean, we experimented. It took a little while to get that look. We tried different things, and that was the one they came up with. So.
Because we noticed just how expressive the eyes were, and there was the scene where you were crying, and we wanted to know about that. I mean, you've just said that you had to find other ways, so obviously the eyes is one of the main things.
That's the thing, yeah. I don't know what scene you're thinking, but you're feeling it as real as you can and hoping that somehow it's coming through, because you can move a tiny bit, but you can't express as you would normally express. So yeah, the eyes is very important.
The best actors, I think, are the ones that really show the emotion through the face, because I think that's quite a difficult thing to do, to show that emotion, especially through the eyes. And I think you nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
You're saying that lack of mobility, that didn't come across to me, did it? You felt?
No, not at all.
It was really natural, just, sort of the old ladies. And
well, it was done, I mean, they're very, very good technicians, the people that did it to us, and they were very much particular and meticulous about it, and it did take such a long time because of that, and so they're trying to mold it exactly to so that you it seems as if it is joined onto you, but it's still very difficult to actually physically move.
And when the other lady was naked, presumably that was full body makeup
full body,
as well,
her whole body was done.
Wow. How long did that take?
A long time, and it takes a long time to get it off every night as well.
Wow.
Like, it takes a team of them to get it off, and it's like, come
on,
I've got to get to my bed, I'm back here in 10 minutes.
We should say it's a fairy tale. Well, it's many tales within one story, which I found really refreshing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a film that is really unique for that aspect, because it kind of makes you question things all the way through it, and it really pulls the rug as well from beneath your feet. There are moments when I thought, this is going to be a kids' film, and then it turns into very dark story, and I think it's something that is quite exciting for that reason. It's quite
and he likes to show the darker side of life. His other films is there's a jolliness to them, and then suddenly it's whipped away from you. There's the human condition kicks in, and the desire for what you didn't even know about 5 minutes ago.
Because I know you've done many roles that are quite dark roles, and especially I have to say congratulations on Happy Valley recently, which was just superb.
Oh, thank you.
Your role was brilliant in that as well. Is that something that attracted you to the role of this movie?
To a point. I wasn't thinking of the darkness. I was thinking of her. She was almost an innocent. It was like a child, and then on that one day, somebody says, "There's something else. There's something out here. There's somebody's enticing you," and your whole body changed. A thought that wasn't there and a feeling that wasn't there changes everything, and that interests me. You can go through your life not knowing about certain things until suddenly you hear something, and then your body, your human, your desire for other than what you have been putting up with kicks in. And you might be 100 when that happens, but it's happening to you. And that was the interesting thing. I didn't really see it as dark. I just saw it as a huge need, and to be part of something. She wants to be with her sister, and she's lost something, and she wants to be loved, and she wants to love, and all this stuff's raging in her, and she doesn't understand any of it.
I wanted to ask you about the singing, because it wasn't clear to me whose singing it was had attracted the king in the first place.
I think that's it. It's somebody's. It wasn't particularly us. Right. It was just on that day he honed in on our cottage. He assumed it was one of us, because you never quite see us who's doing it. You see the back of us, and then it's somebody was doing it.
I suppose everyone will interpret it in their own way in that case, but for me, I felt that it was probably your singing, but your sister, being the more dominant sister, kind of took that away from you.
Yeah, she's obviously been she's maybe a little bit more grown up or a bit more streetwise or feeling more than my character was to begin with, for slight frustration, and there was her opportunity, whereas I didn't think any of that, and she and Dora, the sister, took it and ran with it. I need to get out of this place, so it was interesting.
But she couldn't have done it without you and your finger, though.
Well, that's it. My pretty little finger sucked off by Vincent Cassel.
Indeed. There's quite a lot of comedy in the movie, and I was quite surprised by that, because I really did think it was going to be dark all the way through, and because there were some violent scenes. I don't think it's gratuitous in any way.
No.
But there were moments when I wasn't...
Like with the ogre and everything.
Wasn't sure if I was meant to laugh, because it's that kind of dark comedy, isn't it?
Yes, and it's that's what it is. It's disconcerting for you. That's what fairy tales do.
Yeah.
People read these to their children, and actually somebody's getting killed at the end of it, and they don't see it. And that's the thing. You're not seeing it clearly, and when you're thinking about it today, probably more than you actually. It's still rattling about in your head.
Absolutely.
And it's playing tricks on you. And that's what they do, fairy tales. And that's the joy of Matteo. He's taking something and he's going to play with you a little bit. And you might think, oh, there's nothing happening. And then all of a sudden there's something. For me, one of the scenes that was most upsetting was Under the Water with John C. Reilly when he's, fighting with the... That to me that's the one that I came away with.
Yeah, and there's obviously the moment where, without plot spoiling, your character will go to any lengths to have younger skin as well.
But she doesn't understand the lengths she's going to. She doesn't know what that means. I want to change my skin.
Desperation.
She doesn't know what that means, yeah. She doesn't know how to express that,
It's a fantastic cast as well. You're with Salma Hayek, for instance. Did you know any of these actors before you took the role?
I hadn't met any of them before, but I obviously knew who they all were.
Yeah. What's that like when you're taking on a role and you don't know any of the actors? Is that quite a common thing usually with work that you do?
Yeah. You're always meeting new people, and it's strange. Suddenly you're sitting next to Vincent Cassel in the dressing room, in the makeup room. So it's like, oh my God, there's Vincent Cassel. Yeah. It's quite exciting. Do
you see another side to them?
Of course, you see their goofy side and their fun side, and just to see people in the flesh, who you've seen up on the screen is an odd thing, because often people they're not the size that you imagine. They're either dinkier or they're much bigger than you imagine. So
I definitely walked away still thinking of the movie, like you mentioned just now.
I thought it was beautiful, the sets and the costumes and the location. Where were you on location?
We were in Rome, in studio in Rome, and then all the castles outlying and villages outlying. The architecture of there is amazing anyway.
It feels really authentic as well, because there are moments when you would imagine a film like that to be seen as something that is done a lot in the studio, but it never comes across like that.
Well, no, that's the thing. He did it all as much. I think there might have been one or two little effects, but in general, everything that you see is how we did it. There was nothing, not tricks. It was all. I think there's one bit where they're scaling the side of a mountain and the stone. I don't know about that, but I'm assuming there was some kind of trick went on there for safety. Yeah. But in general, I think it was all what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So how did this role actually come about for you?
Just through an audition, and the audition really was just about listening, having a wee conversation with Matteo in London, and I'm taking lots of photos of my fingers and my skin, and I didn't know what that was about at the time. I was like, is there something, what's going on? So I didn't, it was a very odd audition.
Slightly creepy.
Yeah, I didn't have to read anything. I just had to sit there and just try and understand what they taught, because I didn't know the whole script. You only sent little tiny bits. I didn't know what the whole thing was.
He didn't suck your finger, did he?
No, he didn't. No. Not quite then, no.
Very professional.
I have to get paid for that, yeah.
Shirley, it's great meeting you today. Okay. We loved the film and we wish you all the best with it.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
for your
very
time.
welcome. Thank you. Okay.